Good evening, Dora. Forget about you, bath time. How you doing, Dora?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you guys?
I'm good. Now I'll ask you, bath time. How are you, bath time?
I'm all right. That's the most sort of like, I'm not even going to say passive aggressive, just aggressive introduction I've had for quite some time. I quite like the energy. It's got like, I'm feeling like fighty now.
Yeah, United won. I've got my aggression back, man. I got my mojo back.
We are back.
Yeah, we are back, bath time.
We're not fucking back. What are you talking about?
We're going to take the league by storm. We won 4 in 5. Come on, we're clinical now. We had one chance. We scored 1 goal. You know.
Well, let's go with BT first, because he was at the game at Craven Cottage. How it felt to watch that game yesterday? What were your thoughts? And the atmosphere around the ground. How was it?
The atmosphere, to be honest, was amazing. Like the United fans, the travelling support, unreal. Like it must have been about 15 minutes of I don't know why, but Rooney songs right at the start. Like drowned everything out. Anytime Fulham tried to get a chant going, like the old repertoire came out from the away end. There was some pretty tasty chants about Jim Ratcliffe as well and the Glazers, which I can't repeat here. But it was also almost the coldest I think I've ever been yesterday. It was awful, and I can't lie. I've watched, I would never say that I'm a match-going fan, but I've seen United probably less than 50 times, but around that kind of number. And that is genuinely the worst collection of losers I've ever seen out on the pitch.
But they won.
They were awful.
But they won.
Shut up, Mr. B. Omonte is not here. Come on. We are waiting for him to come back.
Look, I don't know why everybody is so negative. Come on, man. We're on the back.
It was Mr. B. It was incredible to see it on the pitch. I genuinely thought 2 players might get subbed before half time. Wow. Like how bad we were. It's the thing is, like, at the moment, right, we're in no position to do anything in the league. Like, we're probably going to stay up, and we're definitely not going to hit Europe. So what we need, rather than results, are performances for next season. So if we get on a really good streak of performances, and we're a little bit unlucky and all that kind of stuff, that is much better than just eking out.
That was served up yesterday.
Yeah, man, it was honestly, it was dreadful. I mean, like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was genuinely, I was like watching it, and people were laughing at Højlund, like pointing and laughing at him. It was it was dreadful. I'm pleased we won, but it was still awful.
So were Fulham? Did we make Fulham look bad? Did Fulham make us look bad? Was it just 2 shit teams that went out there and played shit? What was the?
Yeah, I think it was like Fulham, like early on, were looking really dangerous. In particular, Iwobi. He's a good player. He was running rings around Ugarte and Bruno. Like they were dreadful in the first half, the pair of them. And what was happening was that, like, De Ligt was getting drawn out, and then Delo was having to sort of tuck in, and we were just unable to sort of get out. But they were also unable to block us, so unable to sort of create chances. So it genuinely just looked like a training exercise in the first half. And then you had some of the worst touches I've seen in my life from Rasmus Højlund. And, like, I mean, The back three were okay, to be honest. Like Martinez obviously scored, which was nice. I saw his his little bunny hop tackle again. I can't believe that's not a red card, but twice he's done it, and twice he stayed on the pitch.
Marcos Rojo all over again. 2-footed challenges. English refs look at it and say it's fine. And you know what? You're good.
You probably don't know who Zebedee is, Dora. But it's like Super Mario jumping on a Goomba or something like. Actually, maybe you do know Zebedee. Did you have a program called the Magic Roundabout? Would have been science fiction in Croatia.
Probably, but I no. I need to Google it, but yeah, I'm not sure. I won't say anything because I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a very old program. Apparently, it's about LSD or something they worked out. But yeah, look, that's the story of the 70s, 60s, and 70s in it. Look, let me say a couple of howdies anyway. Stephanie, if it's true, it looks like United are testing the water. Yeah, we'll get onto that one in a second, Steph. Yes, Bilal is bigging up. I'm assuming he's gone blind. He's called you Yabba, Dora. I'm not sure what Bilal's been on there, but yeah, maybe he's gone a bit colorblind. Andrew, big up, mate. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what Bart's talking about. Good evening, Lord. Rasmus got dispossessed 8 times in the first half yesterday after touching the ball 17 times. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's our superstar striker. Ajmal. Oh yeah, Yabba. Everybody's Yabba, invisible Yabba. But yeah, he may well be on. To be fair, so yeah, we'll tell him he said howdy if he does turn up. Who else is on this? Simon. Good evening, all. I missed last night's stream. I was a bit under the weather, so I missed the Fulham match. How is everyone else? I'm good, man. I hope you're doing well. Who else is on here? Come on. I want to see some positivity. I'm waiting for the day for you to say something positive in the chat. I mean, Bruno scored the winner and you gave him a 4, which ended up me telling you to F off, and you still came back, so you know that it wasn't personal, and that's what I love. I mean, we do abuse you in the chat sometimes, but I know you abuse us, so it's all right. Yes, Stumpy. See, he knows Zebedee. Put it on you'll find out who Zebedee is soon. Subvids, good evening. I hope you're doing well. And who else is on? Ed Mayhem. Evening, guys. And Dora. Amorim is just honest. He's getting a fortune for nothing. I know what that's about. We'll get that as well. It's a good job, mate. You're in the right place for that. Don't worry. Right. Well, look, we spoke about, obviously, the Fulham game, semi-Fulham performance. Rasmus. It might have only been from one outlet, but I don't care. It was from ESPN. And they're reporting that we may be looking to offload Rasmus. Well, we definitely ain't offloading him in January, but we could be offloading him in the summer with AC Milan and Juve slightly interested. He is by far one of the worst Premier League strikers I have ever seen, let alone at our club. We all laughed, of he wrestles. I've seen a whole load of memes today, man, and I couldn't stop laughing. I put Rasmus in Twitter, and they're disgusting. They really are. He better not put his name, hashtag his name in Twitter, because he will delete the account. He offers nothing as a striker. He's got his customary finish, that sort of running down the left foot dink, which he's done a couple of times. And that is it. To be fair, his first touch is non-existent. We saw it. I mean, you saw him live yesterday, bath time. But I was bitch. I mean, to be fair, the watch along was great fun yesterday. Maybe because the game was so shit. No, no, not at all. I think it was just a fun. Maybe because the game was for X-Bath time on a
Were you
Sunday,
drunk?
on an early Sunday evening for X-Bath time. I got work in the morning. No, I wasn't drunk, but it was a fun watch along. As in, maybe because the game was so shit, we ended up, having a bit of a laugh and that in the watch along. But I think he's finished. I already think Xerxes a better player than him. Xerxes probably not going to score as much as maybe Rasmus would do. He's definitely not going to run and press as much as Rasmus does. But I'm all for getting rid of him. It's the price that I'm more worried about. It's going to be another loss. That final transfer window that Ten Hag had, that last two, he's killed us because he really has bought shit. But he is by far one of the worst strikers I have ever seen. I would like somebody to disagree with me, and so that we can sanction them. But Dora, thoughts
Yeah.
on Rasmus? Am I going overboard?
No, because these are the same thoughts I have of Rasmus Højlund, and it probably people are going to think, oh, you cannot, like Omonti the other day when he said, oh, you cannot, beat down on the players, you need to build them up. Well, why would I build up a player who I genuinely don't know how he came to the high level of football with way he plays. I've seen better strikers in the third Croatian league, and I'm not even joking. Like the lamb is roasting next to the pitch. You have a fat ref who is probably drunk. Refing those games. You have fat uh, people, playing football in those leagues, and they have better technique than Rasmus Højlund. And to me, that says a lot because it feels like, Rasmus Højlund is that, roasted lamb next to the pitch. He's just, rolling around, getting roasted by the other players. That's Rasmus Højlund.
Roasted
And,
lamb.
yeah, he is. And, he's not even tasty. Like you watch him and you are crying. I was watching him yesterday and I was in shock how bad he is. Uh, my issue with Rasmus, I don't know. Maybe you can guys discuss it a bit more. Last season he scored 16 goals, right? Every United fan who is, most of the United fans or some of them are still talking about that season like he scored 35 goals or something. Oh, but there is still something in him. Last season he was great, blah, blah, blah. Why are you giving up on him? This is a bad patch, blah, blah. I honestly don't know what people saw in him. He was a bit more confident last season, in my opinion. This season, when his confidence is shot, he simply doesn't know how to play football, and I think that's a huge issue. He's a tall, very strong guy. It seems, right, when you look at him, but he cannot hold the ball. He cannot even beat the defenders from the relegation clubs. Well, we are all relegated. We are in relegation almost, so maybe that's our level. But it just baffles me that even if being this bad, he cannot get himself in the position where he can score at least one goal in 5 games. He isn't doing that at all. And I know Amorim changed the game. He wants more possessions. He wants more possession. Uh, Under Ten Hag, we wanted to, play more transitional. I would say that's why he scored those goals, which kudos to him. But I think that is the best we can get from him. Unfortunately, it looks very very bleak for him. People are going to say it's overreacting. People are talking shit. They are haters. Blah blah blah. I genuinely never saw a worst striker in my life, and it, it hurts to say. It hurts to say, but it is what it is. Like Simon Zaza, everyone was talking about it. That guy at least had 2 great seasons in Spain. Bebe. Well, his career before United and after United looks amazing if you compare it to Rasmus Højlund. Like that guy at least can shoot, as he scored amazing goals, a few months ago. But it just baffles me is that how all of a sudden he cannot even score at least one goal in 5 games. He doesn't move well. He doesn't hold the ball well. He's not good at chasing the balls that he gets. And you know what? I'm not getting, midfield is at fault as well. The midfield and the creation, it fucking sucks in this team, and I need to say it like this. But he needs to move better and open up more channels, as BT says, and more opportunities for his players to find him. He never puts himself in a favorable position to get that ball. And but no service. Well, Xavi and Iniesta would struggle with him in front of would struggle with creation with him in front as a striker. And to me, that's a huge issue. I don't know why the club paid 70 million euros for him. I don't know what Ten Hag saw in him. It's just maybe he saw blonde hair. Maybe he saw how big he is. He maybe thought, oh, he's going to be a new Holland, and that's all. And I'm just baffled how the way he plays is just disgusting. Genuinely disgusting the way he plays. Yes, Ed. Yes, I can say with straight face, this is the worst striker I've ever seen in my life. And the worst thing, he's playing on the elite level of football. How? That's my question. How? Sorry, I needed to say it. I'm just frustrated with the way we bought in the last few years. I cannot name players on one hand. I cannot name 3 players that are good for this team in the last few years. It's awful, absolutely horrendous. Sorry for my vicious rant. I'm just frustrated. I genuinely cannot watch him play football. I'm disgusted.
Do you know the 3 that come to mind that shows how bad it is? I think probably Maguire, Fred and Bruno have been the best post-Fergie signings.
Ugh.
Who did you say?
Awful.
Maguire, Fred, Bruno.
I'm not having Maguire. Maguire was shit. Maguire's been shit for half of the time he's been here.
Yeah.
He had 2 years of mistakes, so I'm not having.
Who are you putting ahead of him then?
I'm not having anybody. This doesn't has to be anybody ahead of him.
But I'm saying that for the 3 best signings since
there ain't no 3 best. There's one, Bruno.
Yeah.
There's for 3, right? Bruno Shadow and Bruno Shadow. But
that's a good one actually. Delo.
He's fallen off a cliff this season.
Again.
Yeah, but it's just in terms of like someone has to be one of the best.
I don't know. It's very hard to remember. Like I'm trying to think. Maybe Fellaini genuinely looks 1,000 times better acquisition than Rasmus Højlund currently, and I'm not even joking.
Fellaini is a better player than Xerxes, let alone Rasmus. He'd be far more used to us. Mr. B, just say? I mean, I said that Fellaini is a better player.
Bath time.
Than Xerxes. Did Fellaini not score in the?
I don't. Fellaini's 12'9".
Yeah.
As anything in the air, he's going to be better than. I'm not having Fellaini better than fucking.
Fellaini's technique and controlling a football with his chest. Look at what he did to Liverpool.
I am not having that. I'm not.
Fellaini sat on Trent and we won it 2-1.
I don't care what you're saying to me. I don't care what explanation you give to me. I'm not having Fellaini being a better footballer than
on a scale of 1 to 10, like with 10 being like Roy Keane or something and 1 being Taibbi, what would you put Xerxes as?
Higher than Rasmus and Fellaini.
What would you put him as?
What were the numbers again?
1 to 10.
And 1 being what?
1 being Taibbi or Anthony, and 10 being Roy Keane, like our best signing, or Cantona.
He hasn't been with us long enough to prove himself, Bath time.
Yeah, but then just use what you have available. 1 to 10,
Oh, he put you on the spot.
Are we talking about technique?
No, just as a signing, the whole package.
Oh, all right. But I like Xerxes. I'm going 4. I'm going 4, and I like him. I'm gonna go 4.
What's the real answer? Is it a 3 or is it a 2?
I couldn't give him a 2. I couldn't get.
Okay, 3.
I'll go 3. Yeah, 3 would probably be my fair answer.
I think I'd go for a 3 as well because he's got to be given more time. But I saw him yesterday, Mr. B, and Rasmus came off. Rasmus was dreadful, but Xerxes wasn't much better. He looked like his movement was like a rugby ball, erratic, sort of just drifting off in places you wouldn't expect. He was bloody awful as well.
Was it drifting off as in hiding, or just where he ended up on the pitch?
It was like it didn't look like he knew what he was doing. Like he had no appetite. Like he just sort of like moved. Like I'm trying to think. He looked like he reminded me of like. Do you ever around like you get this in market towns, but you get lots of sort of goths and emos that kind of move in this lackadaisical, lazy fashion of just sort of drifting about. Mm-hmm. A bit like a kind of mummy. Like that's what he looked like. There was no desire to do anything. He wasn't like shoving anyone about. It was just more of the same.
But isn't that a huge problem, right? He had few great, not great. He had solid games where he looked like he is very hungry and all that. I think he's too inconsistent with the way he approaches the games. I think that's a huge issue. Like he needs to be, he needs to be on fire. Like he sees Rasmus Højlund, throwing a massive stinker in the middle of London at Craven Cottage. Like, why aren't you more motivated to prove to everyone I'm better than you? And he comes in, he drifts away, like almost like Rasmus. And when he tried to get the ball at his feet, that ball dinked from him like it's like I don't know, like it ran away from him, like it was afraid of him, which was very, very strange, for a guy who should have a great touch. So yeah, that's a huge problem for me. Like it feels like his mentality, kind of it's very inconsistent in a very short amounts of time. Like, we played 4 or 5 games in the last 2 weeks, and one game he's hungry and he wants to get to every ball, and the other times he just doesn't bother.
He's like a reptile, only needs to be fed once a month. Like so he's hungry for one game. But the thing about it is, Dora, right, is that when you play in midfield, when you get the ball, you want to pass the ball forward, right? Like you have to do all this scanning nonsense because really you want to get the ball and you want to ping it. And when you see someone like in the midfield on the ball, whether it's Bruno or Agate or whomever, you look at him and there's no like aggression in his movement to say the ball has to go to me, and it's just really, really frustrating. But on Rasmus, I think it's pretty clear that he doesn't have the mentality to be a Manchester United player. He's emotional. We've seen no improvements in his game. He regularly slaps at Ahmad. Like it looks like he feels that he can bully him a little bit. And like Ahmad, man, he's so small. It's unreal. He's a little pint-sized thing running about. And also, did you see Kobe and Malacia coming on?
Yeah.
Did you see the height difference between them?
Who's that?
Yeah, Malacia is very small.
Malacia. Like Kobe actually probably is about 5'11" or 6 foot, but when they came on, it looked like Russian nesting dolls.
But isn't it the same that we are probably looking for another striker in the summer, at least?
There's no position that we shouldn't not be looking to improve.
Yeah,
but
another 50 million we are going to waste, unfortunately.
What, 50? Only 50?
I mean, I'm being optimistic.
Oh, no.
Yay! My backup's here.
Oh, no.
My backup.
He's got his street fighting clothes on.
My backup has arrived. Yes. How are you, sir?
Don't say I'm late. It's 9 o'clock and I'm just clocking in now. I forgot that we're starting 8:30. So I apologize.
Listen, it is absolutely no problem. It's
Wow,
good that you're
19
here.
people in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, it's good that you're here. You were hellos, people were helloing you, and you weren't even here.
Well,
You
high
know?
five right back at you.
So
How do you say welcome in Croatian, Dora?
Dobrodošli.
All right.
Yes.
Anyway, this is my don't mind me. Continue. First of all, I do want to ask Barca, how was the game yesterday? The weather down in London was pissing down yesterday.
Oh, man.
What's it like down in Craven?
It was awful. It was like, you know them films, like, not Independence Day, but like 2012 or something, when there's disaster movies. I looked at that river and the wind and the rain coming off it and thought that I was going to have to, like, surf off, like, as a tsunami was coming. The ground was cold. It was absolutely dreadful. But I got to see Edwin van der Sar, which was nice.
Massive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and obviously he had his health scare, and it's really nice to see him paraded around the pitch. That was a really nice moment.
So we were asking, Mr. Me and Mr. Arthur, were you in the Fulham end or the Man United end?
I was in corporate.
Oh,
I was in a box, if you have to know.
By the Thames with caviar and champagne.
Were you in a suit with the tie? With
Obviously.
gelled hair?
Were you
With
telling
the
no,
thingy, with the bag?
Polished head, you mean?
I'm not bold, Mr. B. You keep saying this.
Listen, bath time. You're bald. To me, you're bald. Okay.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you very much.
If that's how you picture me in your dreams, who am I to say? We're just rubbing our heads together. It's what bros do.
Well, it's really good you get to see the game. Obviously, we watch on TV. People saying it's boring or whatever, but when you're probably live at the game, you can see a lot more than we can. I was really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it, you know?
His opinion didn't change on what we thought of it, mate. I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. To be honest, yeah, but I think, like, because I'm always blind drunk at football matches and I'm more concerned with making noise and things, like, I genuinely think you get more, you see more of the game watching it on your TV. Where's Dora gone?
We're clocking in and out with taking shifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we just 24-hour news now?
Oh, there you go. Look, she farted.
So, sorry, what did you guys were arguing with Mr. B about something?
Fellaini versus Xerxes. Who was a better signing?
What up?
Oh, Xerxes for sure.
For sure, yeah.
I tell you what, you say for sure, there's me and you in the chat, and everybody else is losing their heads. There's
saying Fellaini.
Fellaini.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Can I say something? I remember when Thiago Motta said that, Xerxes is like
Your sound's gone. What did you do?
Ronaldinho.
You need to plug your microphone in, Dora.
Oh my God. I hate this platform.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yes. Remember when Thiago Motta said, he's a hybrid, Xerxes is a hybrid with Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Robinho, and every single player that has Nyo at the end of their name. Well, you know what? Fellaini actually looks like he is a Ronaldinho and Robinho and Ibrahimovic hybrid if you compare him to Xerxes apparently. So, yeah.
Fellaini is actually a hybrid Duncan Ferguson and Andy Carroll. That's what he is.
Well, that's
a hell of a player, Yabba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both left-footed though, Ferguson and Carroll, aren't they?
I didn't know Ferguson was left-footed.
Yeah, he was left-footed. Duncan
Right.
disorderly.
Just knew he was good at heading.
Yeah.
Give him one. Oh my God. So yeah, Yabba. Well, obviously we were discussing Højlund, and him being maybe one of our poorest purchases as a striker. Stephanie put up Davenport and Gary Birtles. I said he's probably be the worst. I don't remember those players.
Well, they both played for Forest, and Gary Birtles won a Champions League or a European Cup with Forest. He used to have a great beard. I don't know if you remember Gary Birtles' beard. It was fabulous. One of the full-grown beard, like a Jesus beard.
But right, when we were thinking about two strikers, the one that came to my mind was a guy called Miguel Beck, who I think played for Middlesbrough. And there was another one who played for Leicester, who was built like Mr. Universe, and he missed so many chances, and I can't remember his name.
Oh no, you're talking about
would have been late 90s, I think.
Yeah, he took his shirt off.
And he was
Adeyemi?
No, Addy. There you go. Is this it?
Him.
Adi Akinbaye.
There you go. Akinbaye. That's the one. Akinbaye.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
He scored
It
wasn't when he went to, I think it was at Leicester, he flopped when he got his big move. But he scored goals in other divisions and elsewhere. It's just he just got a bad rep for that. I think he was decent. The thing with the stat came out, didn't it, about in 48 games, out of 48 games, 36 of them in the Premiership, Haaland hasn't scored. And that looks really bad. But the thing is, I've come to that conclusion now because there's nothing you can do to defend him anymore. We can't defend him anymore. Me and Mr. B were discussing yesterday and saying, look, Xerxes a few weeks ago was the shittest of the shit according to the fan base, and he got dragged off after 30 minutes. That's a humiliation. But now everyone's saying he's better than Haaland. So what does it say about Haaland? Haaland, his hold-up player. That's what I want to talk to you about. If you have a discussion, you were there live. You're more qualified than us. But from what I watched on TV, he couldn't keep the ball. Martinez, I felt, had a go at him when he popped the ball off and held on it too long and popped it off and gave it away. Then they
all had a go at him.
All right, well there you go. You go ahead.
Garnacho in particular. Garnacho was really angry with Højlund, like a lot of the game. The thing is, Yabba, is I said this earlier, but I thought after about 35 minutes that two players could have been taken off, and Rasmus was definitely the first one. Nothing was sticking. The team was... What was really weird, right, is that Fulham were not even pretending to press us, and we kept going long over and over, which is probably about confidence and things like that. But we were doing... As we were going along, we were doing this really silly manoeuvre that I didn't like, where Garnacho was going from number 10 to wing back, and Mazraoui was running into the space, and it could only have worked if Rasmus had kept the ball, I think. Yeah. And those two in particular were like losing it with him. Mazraoui wouldn't look at him, and Garnacho, you know that thing where someone stops, jumps, throws their hands up in the air, and that's all Garnacho did basically all game, and all of them were furious. You can see that the team lacks confidence, but I tell you now, the players don't seem to have any confidence in Rasmus at all. And his runs were dreadful as well.
Yeah. Do you, Dora? I haven't seen you for ages, but did you watch the game? Do you agree with all this assessment?
Oh yeah, I had a huge rant, after the stream. Go on and watch the replay. Yeah, I watched it. Probably the worst player that I've ever seen in my life as a striker. Not overall, but the worst striker, especially in the United shirt. He is dreadful. I don't know what is going to happen to him. Maybe he revives his career until the end of the season. I don't know. It will be a miracle, honestly. Maybe he does it on Easter. Jesus, comes. He, maybe he will, how do you say it in English? He'll come from the dead or whatever.
Resurrect.
Resurrect. Sorry, I cannot find the word.
He'll arrive on the back of a dragon from out of space.
Yeah. It's not just Jesus that's been killed on crosses this year.
Yeah. I'm not very happy about him, honestly.
Talk about worst strikers ever. Now, one of the worst for me, where I think is which I think should be the worst striker ever, because it's such a disappointment, let down a whole nation. All right, you produce your best footballing side probably ever in 1982. This is Brazil, and you have a guy called Serginho up front who couldn't finish his dinner. I mean, completely. You got Socrates, Falcao, Zico, Junior, all these great Edu players behind him, and this one striker, all he had to do was get a draw against Italy and just finish his dinner, and he was pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Go and look him up, Serginho in the 1982 World Cup.
Worse than Rasmus?
Probably worse than Rasmus, and that's saying something, you know.
I doubt that. A Brazilian.
Trust me, this guy. How can you get served up on a plate? You get spoon-fed by Zico and Socrates and Falcao and all these guys, and you can't finish.
Well, I mean, this season Xerxes cleared off the line for a team. I mean,
yeah, I see that.
Did Serginho pull that off?
I'm gonna have to go and check, but yeah, it's close. I mean, yeah. Do you feel we've given him a chance now, hasn't he? He's been there long enough to make a judgment. He's really he had a blitz last season where I think he scored 7 in 6 or something like that, and he looked like he was going on. But there's no consistency with him. You don't see him scoring headers. His movement in the box is not too good. Usually, like when I think about the worst strikers in the Premier League, I remember a guy called Chris Armstrong, who's now like a dreadlock.
Spurs.
Yeah, do you remember him from Palace?
I thought he was a decent player, wasn't he?
Yeah. My point is, like, I thought he was he was banging goals for Palace and went to Spurs and still banged a lot of goals for Spurs, but didn't work out for him. He ended up getting some bad charges or something like that. But he had pace. He had something about him. He had some really electric pace, and most of his goals were consistently him running through, stretching his legs and getting through and scoring. So any striker with something about has got something good about them. Something, you know, you talk about Tony Connie in the box could turn on the swivel, you know, and he can't get near him, and he's got low centre of gravity. Or Niall Quinn, you know, win everything in the air. Someone's got something good about them which makes them score goals. With Rasmus, you thought, has he got pace? No. The dread for Fulham yesterday was eating them up, you know.
Calvin Bassey.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
You felt so?
So I said he's a good player, Calvin Bassey.
No, you felt so. I'm just saying you felt he was good.
Yeah, I've always quite liked him. Nice left-footed centre back. For me, but the way I look at it is, do you think that there is an easier striker to play against in the Premier League? Because I don't. I think you might say Darwin Núñez is rubbish, but he's going to cause you a whole handful of problems.
He would be a nightmare for it.
Yeah. Like, you think about Vardy, that pensioner. Like, he's still going to be an absolute issue to play against. I think Danny Ings is probably really, really annoying to play against. But with Rasmus, I mean, it's just a dream, isn't it? You don't even have to defend. Like, you just have to follow him, and he just will trip over the ball.
Oh, you don't even have to. You just stay one place and he'll back into you.
Yeah.
That's all he wants to do. He'll fight. He finds the defender to wrestle. This is what I don't understand. There's all that space on the pitch, and he is intent on trying to pin down the defender. That he doesn't do.
I mean,
go ahead, Dora.
No, I just wanted to say, but, you know, people are saying, because, you know, Amorim wants him to play with his back to the goal. Well, Ten Hag wanted him to play like that last season as well, but he never quite, how do you say it? He was never good at it. Like, people are saying, but he was decent last season, around, in terms of that kind of play, but he wasn't. Like, he maybe had one, 2 games where he showcased that he can, you know, overpower some of the centre backs, because that guy is over 6 foot and he has around 100 kilos or whatever. Like, and he cannot, play against any of the centre backs in the Premier League, which is so baffling to me. He should be better. And, you know, and this season is as well. Even when he's running into space, you know, chasing the balls, whatever, they're not good. Those runs are not good. And you don't have to have a freaking academy, a master's degree in football or being a coach or even play football to see that his movement sucks. I mean, seriously,
your first time watching football, and you would understand that he's dreadful.
Yeah, but go on.
So what's the thing? Can I just say, like, obviously we did find out last night about the comments that the manager made about Rashford, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it's wow. You know,
It's right. It's coming. That's coming. Don't worry.
Let's move on to that.
Well, if we're moving on to that, I would say this: if the manager's saying by training not hard enough, or suggesting someone's not training hard enough, and exposing him and saying, "Bruv, you know, that's not good enough."
Please tell me you're not in support of this.
And it's about standards. Surely the same standards apply to not playing well enough. You should drop someone who's not playing well enough. Or
maybe he's a good trainer.
No, that's a really good point from Yabba.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. It's that
I don't like
you've got to have accountability, like off the pitch and on the pitch. Like you will need people in training that like are hungry and are really pushing it and so on. Like, you know, even the kids coming in, like Collier would have worked his way into the team because of his performances in training, and then when he comes on the pitch, he's got to kind of reproduce his form, and he did really, really well yesterday. You could argue he was sort of a match winner, clearing it off the line, but there are quite a lot of. He's a very nervous player from what I saw. He makes a lot of kind of basic mistakes that.
Collier.
Yeah, even things like there was a bit we had no pressure on him, and he needed to boot the ball 60 yards into the corner, and he kicked it for you. He miskicked it with no pressure on him, and it's just stuff like that. Is a bit more experience and sort of, you know, like having more time out there. But he struck me as being nervous when he came on yesterday, but the whole team were, to be honest. Like none of them had any confidence. It took like Harry Maguire one header to kind of get himself into the game. But the rest of them never really kind of found their feet, as it were. There was a lot of emergency stuff going on all game. But I agree 100%, Yabba, that it's fine to like sort of come out and say this player isn't playing because he's not doing stuff in training. But on the pitch, you've got to make sure that you're doing fundamentals. And yesterday, I know Martinez won us the game, but right at the end, he did the same effing thing he did against Newcastle United, where his body shape and his whole position with that Adama Traore, and I know those two have had beef, and it's been brewing since the game this season, last year, where like, remember there was all this Instagram stuff, like they obviously don't like each other, but Martinez didn't do fundamentals at the most important time. Ugarte not doing fundamentals throughout the match. Bruno as well. Like, you can't, like, if you're not doing the fundamental things, you can't be allowed to just continue it on the football pitch. And I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm losing faith in Amorim, but I really think that this situation that he's found himself in could be handled so much better, like in the way that he's picking his teams and talking to the press and stuff. Like I think he might have got lost in the sauce a little bit.
Who? Why?
Right. Zaha was banging David Moyes' daughter. He never ever acted the way that Amorim is doing about Rashford in
allegedly.
Press conferences. Yep, he's allegedly doing. But for Amorim to come out and say something like that, not just devaluing an asset we're trying to move, but putting himself up for like civil procedures, it's just crazy.
How is he putting himself up for? You've got a professional footballer.
He's affecting his future earnings by saying that he's not applying himself in training. You can get sued for that.
He's not gonna fucking sue him for it, is it? What he needs to do is step up the effort in training, or when he goes to whatever club he goes to, prove how great Marcus Rashford actually thinks he fucking is. Yeah, when the beginning
it's nothing to do with Rashford.
Window, what do you mean it's got nothing to do with
Rashford? It's to do with Amorim's comments about Rashford.
Hold on. So if he was performing in training, would there be an issue? No, there wouldn't be. So it is down to Rashford.
No, it's not, because we shouldn't be told to do these things.
They ask him a question, and he answered the question, but because he didn't lie like fucking Ollie and fucking Ten Hag.
Well, Ten
And he
Hag
told the
didn't
truth.
lie, and he threw Sancho. He threw Sancho in, and we got in exactly the
Yeah, but
same situation.
he was sucking off Marcus though, wasn't he? Because obviously Marcus was still playing like a wanker then as well.
Yeah, but the point is, right, is that the Rashford situation aside, whatever he's doing, Amorim shouldn't be saying stuff like that in public because it's detrimental to the club.
Look,
Yeah.
we're a Man United agenda show, right? We cover Man United. Let's discuss what he said. Let's put the quote out there so everyone can make up their own mind. Because we're hearing only little clippets of what he said, and the headline is he trashes Rashford or whatever. Please, if you don't mind, let's put it all together and actually listen to what he actually said and the question that was asked and what was actually said. Because when I've done that, I think fair enough. I've got no issue with what he's doing. I understand what you're saying. He made a point about the value being devaluing the player and not helping Man United. The fans, most of the fans, it might be something new, but most of the fans are on side with this. Mr. B, I can tell, is on side of it. I'm not sure about you, Dora, but I'm on side with it. I think, okay, at least we know now what's been going on for the last few years, and we need to know now that it's been aired by the manager. He's not afraid to say whether his job's on the line or whether he's going to be damaging to himself. He's actually not afraid to say, this is the actual reason. Here, guys, here's the fans. This is the reason why we have issues at the club. And I'm going to air this and put this guy to one side in the corner with the dunce hat on or whatever it takes and make him face the wall. And while we get on with things until you come correct. That's discipline, in my opinion. That's good to air it. I don't care. It's like when you go to Parents' Day, all right, the teachers don't think twice. They tell you straight if your child is performing or not, you know? And we've all been there. We've been terrified. Think, oh, my God, we're going to get exposed now. Damn right you should.
What's the difference?
The difference between what?
Between telling a press conference and hundreds of millions of people worldwide and a parent-teacher meeting between just the parents and the teacher. What do you think the difference is between those things?
Well, if you've got a mum like my mum, if I get bad, everyone will be hearing about it on the phone. So the whole family would know about my badness, you know?
Yeah, but you see why it's not a very good metaphor.
No, I think it's a good metaphor. I think it makes sense. We want something different. We want this to be aired. Mourinho hinted on it. Not all this sort of silent sort of...
Mourinho called Pogba a virus.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's good. I think it's good. We need that to be aired. It's like, you know, why do they have these documentaries, flying the wall documentaries on Amazon? Why do they...
make money.
We want to see this in this day and age. We want to see be that fly on the wall. We want to be a part of it. Fans want to see everything, you know? There's all this the times of behind closed doors and it's been locked off. That seems to be broken down now. Whether I agree with it or not, but I like the fact that we are actually exposing what's going on at the club, and this is a really significant statement that he's making. He's making his stance, and I think it will might not benefit Rashford, but it will benefit the culture of the club going forward. Because no one's going to be wanting to be in that position where you're the odd one out and you're the one who's not performing in training. Because we can't see that.
Can I say something? Like I am on the fence with it because I, as most of the United fans, I feel dreadful watching this team. We know about the leaks for years. We know about the disobedience of some players for years. Training, issues. Some players, quote unquote, being undroppable due to this, due to that. Do blah blah blah. But at the same time, I feel like Amorim is kind of. It was charming at the beginning, but I think he's flying too close to the sun currently. Like, I think both things you guys said can be true. And I know this is a boring diplomatic answer, but I think he needs to chill a bit with his statements, because be more subtle. Don't be delusional like Ten Hag, because that was awful, in my opinion, the way he talked to the press. But at the same time, be more balanced in the way you are talking about the players, because at the end of the day, like Marcus Rashford came out and said in the interview or to whoever that he wants to leave. He wants new challenges. He is open to leave. Like, cool, great. But I think Amorim as well needs to realize, if he tells the press and everyone that he is rubbish in the training ground, that people are going to question him. Now, maybe the club thinks, oh, he's a big player. He's been at the face of the club for many, many years. But that's not going to sell you a player. People are going to invest in a player that is hardworking and wants to succeed. And I think his approach is currently, he's flying too close to the sun, in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm glad that we are finally getting rid of the players who should have been gone for many, many years. Next up, Luke Shaw, potentially Bruno Fernandes if he keeps, playing poorly, unless. No, but listen, listen, Mr. B. We need to, get rid of the old, like, maybe Harry Maguire as well. He's been, part of the old guard as well. Maybe find another one. And now everyone is sore-faced. I don't care. But you need to get rid of these players who's been part of the bad situations for many, many years and are still here, and in some ways are part of the problem, because they are. I mean, Rashford has been here since 2015. Luke Shaw has been here for since 2014. I just started university. I'm turning 29 tomorrow. That's how long has it been.
Happy birthday.
It's insane. Yes, I'm 29 tomorrow. So it's insane. Like we need to, this club needs to move on from some of these players. And both can be true. I think you're both right. I think we need to be more balanced in the way we approach things. And unfortunately, it seems that we are not going to sell anyone, because we are only loaning up players and not creating money or anything. Maybe we are going to get something from Anthony's loan or whatever. We are not going to sell either Casemiro, nor Rashford, nor Garnacho. We are not going to sell anyone. We are going to struggle until the summer with bad players, bad form, and bad apples in that locker room. And that's a huge issue. I know Amorim, but Amorim as well needs to chill out with flirting with the press and, hyping up the fans. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're one of us. Yes, we are shit. But he really needs to chill with
Dora, just quickly on that point. So if the manager's now made a statement, drawn his line in the sand, say these are the standards we set, that means if Rashford doesn't leave in this window, that means he shouldn't play Rashford again until unless his training methods meet what he's staying there. Because let's keep it simple.
I think that's going to happen on Monday. There is no way in hell I think that's going to happen on Monday. I don't think there is no way in hell the club is going to pay him almost 300k a week or whatever he is, or whatever his wage is, to see him, out of the team, out of the squad, waiting for the summer to sell him. He's going to be in that squad sooner or later.
Even if he doesn't raise his standards for training. So then that means that undermines the manager.
This is a test, but this is a test on Monday. If his training is shit and Amorim still plays him, then his standards are not as the way he presents it, he presents it to the press and to the fans. I think this is going to be a test, but I guarantee you on Monday, the club is not going to let this slide. They're going to say he needs to be at least in the squad, and they're going to talk to him and say, you need to talk to your manager, you need to raise up your training standards and play for the club, so we can move you on if you really want to leave this club.
I don't know about that,
Dora. That is going to happen.
Really? His attitude's not going to change. He is what he is.
I meant more about the club telling him to play. Like, Ineos are in charge of the footballing stuff now, and I think Ratcliffe above all is a pragmatist. He had to do a really dodgy deal to sort of get the club, one that he didn't want, and so on. He's no one's popular. He's no one's cup of tea at the moment. I don't think he'll be put off by that, but I don't think that he's going to tell Barada or Brailsford or Wilcox that they have to play Rashford. We know that Rashford fought. Rashford cried after the FA Cup final because he thought it was his last game for United. They've been trying to move him for some time, and Ratcliffe is about cutting costs and things at the moment. He's called out by name Casemiro for being a terrible transfer. Casemiro has been nowhere near the pitch since Amorim came in. I think that they will be quite supportive of him not playing Rashford, but I also think that they will be quite alarmed in the space of like a week or whatever it is, he said that the squad is the worst in Manchester United's history, and that Marcus Rashford, he'd rather pick a goalkeeping coach than play him. Those are quite. I mean, that's very soap opera.
I mean, when you like, yeah, I get it, but I cannot believe that we are going to have a player on that much money and he's going to sit on his ass and not play. I mean, it happened before. I know it happened
to two
before,
of them,
but
he's
we still have
Casemiro and Rashford. Like, that is genuinely $500,000 a week.
Well, regardless of the finances,
it is.
What I find with people, like, we want to point fingers. We watch EastEnders and say, "Oh, look at that," get into it. I see people talk about EastEnders the next day like it's real, and criticizing people. These are just actors, and I see people criticizing everyday footballers who are earning big money and trained all their life and doing something really good, and we're sitting on our couch with our big bellies and pointing fingers.
Excuse me.
Speak for yourself.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Like I'm sitting on my couch with my big belly and
Thank
pointing
you.
fingers and saying, wagging my finger at them and looking for double standards and calling people up. Just like this guy here, Andrew, the loser. Andrew is a loser. Like, he likes to see double standards in people. That's why he's coming and saying what I can't understand is why Yaba, calling me out, was happy with the rubbish Eric Ten Hag, with the rubbish that Eric Ten Hag was talking, and also the content with Ruben speaking the truth. So he's looking for double standards with me to call me out. Do you know what I'm saying? So my point is not calling you out so much here, Andrew, but just saying, I'm looking now. Now, Amorim's drawn a line in the sand, said, if your training standards are not up to scratch, I'm trying to get the quote up again to make it clear, then you won't be playing. So if I see someone playing who's not training well in future, I will say, Amorim, hold on a minute, what's going on here? You said that anyone who's not performing or playing well, you don't hesitate, you're not going to play them. Example being, because we can't always see what's going on in the training, but example being the way he dragged Xerxes off a few weeks ago. Now, that had a good reaction, I feel, because Xerxes come on and you can see he's playing a bit better. But as a manager, you need to make these tough decisions, and this is why we employ you. This is why we give you all that dough.
Thank you.
This is why you have to have that responsibility. And he, Amorim, will look at this channel, look at all the channels, look at all the fans, and say, you ain't done what I done. And they're not, without him being arrogant, you ain't done what I done. I'm in this position for a reason. I have to make the tough decisions out here, and I ain't gonna damage my reputation or my legacy by some jackass who doesn't want to train hard enough.
Thank you.
That, right? I'm gonna do my job, and I don't give a damn what Andrew the loser says, what Yabba, the jabber, or the flapper says, or bath time, the connoisseur,
the good time
watcher in the boxing training cottage, or Mr. B with his live watch-alongs, or Dora in Croatian cussing.
Oh, you will care what I say on Monday.
Have you not seen Dora's got a weapon tonight? Whenever she makes a point in her hand.
He's more qualified.
Yeah, thank you, Monday.
Yeah, but right. Yeah, but you brought up another thing that Amorim did that annoyed me, is that in all of this, especially the Xerxes substitution, there's not enough criticism of himself. Like, when he took Xerxes off, he should have said, look, nothing against Xerxes, I made the wrong call, it's all on me, treat it because the thing is that our club, and please don't try and deny this, our club culture is built on the relationship between the fans and the players going back to 1958. And I don't think Amorim understands this. I think he is devaluing. I think he's what he's doing is he's allowing fans, the media, everyone, he's giving them a green light, waving a red flag, whatever metaphor you want, to go in on the players. He did it to Xerxes by taking him off and never saying that it was my fault.
Yeah, but how was Xerxes responding half time?
It's nothing to do with how people are responding. It's about the relationship between the fans and the players.
But the fans, we hate all of the fucking players by half time.
Yeah, but he's given a green light for everyone to go in on them. And that's the thing.
But we're going in on them anyway. By half time, we're going on the players anyway.
Right, yeah, so he is at the same level of a fan, just throwing people on the bus. It is. I don't like it. And you could look. It's not too dissimilar to Ragnick, in my view. You know how much I hated Ragnick because how he basically just acted like a fan cam. Like Amorim is doing exactly the same stuff, and he's greenlit Marcus Rashford for abuse. He's greenlit the entire team for abuse.
But everybody knew. Everybody. But we're not stupid, bath time. We're not stupid. We knew what was going on with Rashford. All of these people knew what was going on with Rashford. All of these interviews have come out and said for the last 10 years, he's got on everybody's bloody nerves. If we want the culture of the club to change, we need to get the troublemakers out. The players.
That's not what I'm arguing about.
So what are you arguing about then, Bath?
The manner in what it's being done. Because he's doing it.
So what? So he should have tippy-toed about it. So he should have kept it quiet. He should have kept it quiet so that nobody gives a shit. So that they can get Marcus off the books. So we can go somewhere else. And then in 6 months we're gonna get him back anyway because they're gonna realise that he's a fuckhole.
Yeah, because guess what, Mr. B? That's what's going to happen. He will probably go on loan to somewhere like Borussia Dortmund or something, and he's coming back in the summer, and we've got to sell him. And the manager has basically said he will play a pensioner over him in public. Like,
it's up to Marcus. It's up to him.
No, it's not, because he's...
If he was performing, there would be no issue. If he was performing in training, there would be no issue.
However, from now on, even if he does perform in training and so on, Amorim will look weak, as Dora alluded to earlier, if he goes back in the squad.
No, he won't look weak because he said it's down to training. He hasn't said he's not picking him because thank you, it's training. If he gets back into the squad, it's because he's training.
Tag me in. Just give me a little tag. Tag me in, please.
This way. It's the wrong side.
You two idiots. Right, do it properly.
Yeah.
This side.
Right, bath time.
This side.
Do it properly.
Tag me then. You got to tag me. Wrong side.
Wrong
side. Other side. You are.
That's not the wrong side. That's the right side.
No.
Oh my God.
Use your right hand.
No.
Other side.
That way.
Yes.
Who am I tagging? I'm tagging no one over there.
Yeah, you're tagging me.
I'm tagging you in. You want me to tag you back in?
Yeah.
Look, referee's gonna go. Let me just say this. I'll tag you in a second. Let me say this. I'm staying on topic. Sorry. Let's double team half time here. Half time. I know he's going. You should stir
Jesus Christ, mute yourself.
But remember, he said about the training issue, and he said that someone's not training to the standard, and that's why he's had to be let go and not be part of the team. Do you remember Ten Hag? Everyone's laughing at now. Ten Hag done the same thing, it seems, with Sancho, who wasn't doing something right regarding standards, didn't reveal too much. There was something wasn't right, and he decided to let him go or to dismiss him. The same thing applies. So when someone stands up, why is it? What's consistent here is that managers are actually having to draw the line and actually discipline these players, and we should applaud it. The last two managers, someone lost his head. And our last manager lost his head because he was brave enough to call out Ronaldo, call out Sancho, and do all these things. But we were moaning about it. This manager's doing the same thing, and you're going to go and think there's not a problem with the players? There's not a problem with the culture? And the community, the relationship between the club and the fans. No, the relationship between the club and the fans should be more transparent, like what the manager's doing right now, and saying, actually, fan base, guess what's going on? This guy, we got standards, they're not being met. We got standards. You want to know why we're down in 12th or 13th place? Because the standards haven't been met. We were there before. Players are taking the PISS, and I'm calling it out. You don't like it? Up yours. I'm qualified. Look at what I've done at Sporting. Look at my CV. I'm qualified to come into this job and set my system, set my standards. And who's with me is with me. Who's not is walking off the plank and off the ship right now. That's what I rate about it, and I think it's a revelation and a revolution at the club. And you talk about fundamentals. What he's going to create is with his system is going to be fun to mental. And Rashford was
Oh my
celebrating
God!
that. You don't see. Go on.
Right, is it, with the summary of the points you made? No, it's the other side. Honestly, right. I'll move you to the correct place so you can do it now.
Oh right, I see what you mean now. It does throw you off, though. So he's still gone the wrong way.
No.
Yeah, he's still gone the wrong way.
I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It's reversed, Yabba. It's reversed. So you do it. There you go.
There you go.
All right, tag Yabba back in, please. I'm not done with him.
Dora and Ting, tag each other because I'm done.
All right. Yeah, but do you think that like the summary of the points you gave is not the position that I hold? Are you aware of that?
I heard your points. Yeah, I'm just adding to it and giving you my points, and I hope you agree with get some understanding there, and I hope that's fun to your mentor as well.
I don't. Please stop doing that.
Go on, counter. Let's hear what you got to say.
My thing is that with the Sancho and Ten Hag thing, my recollection of it is that Ten Hag basically demanded an apology from Sancho to get back in. With Rashford, the kind of condition.
Apology for what? Apology for what?
He made a post Ten Hag called him out after the Arsenal game he wasn't present for.
Because
he didn't think that I can't remember what it was. He just said he wasn't working
hard enough
in training or something.
Because he didn't train hard enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
it was very mild, in my opinion.
But the reason that he wasn't put back in squads, because you remember Anthony had legal problems, I think, almost instantly for a month. Like, Sancho wouldn't apologise for a social media post was pretty much like the reason that he was kept out. But the issue with what I don't like about what Amorim is doing, and something that you didn't mention, is that Amorim is distancing himself a lot from all these things. Such as the Xerxes substitution, such as the worst squad in United's history, like all these things. Like, he's got to be part of that, because it's not like we're meant to be a collective, we're meant to be a team, and I think that Amorim isn't putting himself in or taking any accountability for results and so on. And I think that he should be more of a sort of lightning rod for those kind of things, particularly with Xerxes. Like, I think it's perfectly fine for the manager to lie or tell a half-truth and say the reason Xerxes came off is because I got the setup wrong. Like, take some pressure off your player. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we're trying to get rid of Rashford. Rashford has no future at the club, and because of the way Amorim is acting with the information that we know, he's driving the price down, devaluing an asset, and hurting the football club's financials. You can make an argument that isn't his responsibility, but his job is to manage the football club, and he's not doing a very good job of that. And like, I don't know if you're sort of like, so yeah, in my opinion, but I don't know if you're poo-pooing this, but the relationship between the players and the fans is the most important thing about this football club. Like, the owners, the manager, they're just guardians for the spirit of Manchester United. And when you're openly inviting criticism onto the players as the manager, I can't take that, because it's turning us into a soap opera, and we don't need any invitation to be a soap opera. I feel that, like, those players and that dressing room, what happens on the training ground is all private and should be private from us.
But it never is. It never is, because
but the manager is opening it up, and those are my issues with it. And I think it's, look, in the same way that we might talk about Ahmad or Kobe being young and inexperienced and making mistakes on the football pitch, I think that you have to look at Amorim, who's 40, I think, like tomorrow, like Dora. Well, who's not 40 tomorrow. But I think that you've got to kind of see that, like, these are not this is not what an experienced top-level manager would be doing. And that he needs the feedback in order to learn, because I feel that these comments are damaging large parts of the football club.
Dora, do you want to tag Dora in? Because Dora's doesn't want to help you out here. She doesn't want to take. She turned her back. She's
I
acting like
mean,
she
you're
can't
both
take.
right. I mean, look, you.
Splinters in your bum
Yeah.
again, Dora.
Who
Yes,
thought
it is.
Dora
I mean,
would be
but
such a
it's-
politician?
I mean, but it's the truth. If you look at it, you know, wholeheartedly, you're both correct. He's not a great player. He's not. How do you say it? Rashford is not. Doesn't have a future. He isn't training well. He hasn't been for a very, very, very long time. He has issues with multiple managers. And on the other side, Amorim is. I think he got loose too much in the pressers. I think he needs to chill. I think that is what. Honestly, after my personal opinion on his pressers, I think at first it was charming to me. Oh, someone is calling out the players. Someone is calling out the issues in the club. But then it kind of became like he's creating a circus around it, and I honestly don't like it. So I am against what, for example, Ten Hag said, or for example, when Ole sometimes was, in my opinion, too protective over the players, even though they actively threw him under the bus every single week with his with their performances, in the last stretch of his reign at the club. But I think Amorim is too loose with the press. Okay, it's cool if you are charming, like, Ange Postecoglou with his Australian charm, even though he's not performing on the pitch. But at the same time, I mean, we are in the same predicament as Spurs currently, because we are garbage. We are 12th.
They're 5 point worse.
Well, that's a relief. They are worse than us. Yeah, but it's cool to be charming. It's cool, but you need to chill. Like, at this moment, I think it's too early for him to be in. I think he's been here for 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. I think he needs to be longer here. I don't know. Like, I think it's too early for him to have circuses around his presser. I think he needs to chill a bit. But at the same time, I think Rashford needs to be held accountable, and I think he needs to leave the club.
Okay. Can I just say that sometimes to get peace, you have to have war. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. For the future of peace at Man United, we have to go to war, and go to war with certain issues and cultures at the club. Man United, going back when Fergie took over, there was a drinking culture at the club. We know this, okay? It was well known. You only had to hang around Manchester or know, Brian Robson was always peed up. Kevin Moran, Norman Whiteside,
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's what I love. Allegedly. This is known fact, all right? And it's not acceptable. So Fergie had to go to war to get peace, and we had peace for 20 odd years, 25 years when he was at the club, because we were winning things again. But to get there, he had to do things, get rid of Strachan, get rid of all these guys, which was part of the bad culture of the club. And we're seeing parallels right now with what Amorim's doing. We might not like it at the moment, we might, because we're comfortable with the way things are, but we have to sort of become uncomfortable and change things and and revolutionize this club and get back on track about what it's really about. Now, Bath Time said the most important thing is the relationship between the club and the fans. I disagree. I think the most important thing about Manchester United is attacking and winning. This is what fans, fans will be happy if we are winning trophies and we are playing good football. That's all the fans pay their money for. They don't care about turning up at the ground and reading a program and, being in touch with the board and hearing Fergie's notes or Amorim's notes in the program. And, they're not too bothered about that. They want to put that program down, or put it on their head to protect themselves from the leaking roof and watch a game of football. Watch a game of football with attacking style, because they can't afford to be in a box at the right bath time, eating caviar, drinking champagne. They want to sit there, watch a game of football, and be proud of their team and sing their hearts out. That's what they really care about. The relationship between the club and the fan, that is important, but not as important as what they want to see. And we sitting on our couch or going to the game, we will be delighted when we see great football. That's all we want to see. So that's the number one priority for the club. And I think we need to eradicate this bad culture, and this is part of it. And we might itch, might scratch, and all that kind of thing to get rid of it. And it might irritate a few people, but I like the process of what we're going through. to address these issues. And if it hurts someone and someone starts crying like Rashford and, or damages his brand or whatever, I say screw it. I don't give a damn. As long as we're going forward, like we did under Fergie, getting rid of the alcoholics, we're getting rid of the bad, slack, what do they call them, culture boys or suited boys for Liverpool in 95.
Spice Boys.
Spice Boys.
Spice Boy, whatever it is, whatever the culture they want to call it today, the Lingard, the dancing, the, waltzing around, drinking in Belfast, all that kind of thing, not training at the high level. These things are slackness. I call it slackness culture, where they think they've made it already. Get rid of that, and let's eliminate all these stupid cases like the Greenwood case, where that's just slackness and stupidness, and all this Rashford thing where he's not behaving himself, where Sancho is not apologising, going to social media. Eradicate that and become a proper club again and play some proper football. But that takes proper players who are professional and not engage in any of this activity. So you're either on board, like I said, or you're not. And the ones that are not are winded and down now, and they're leaving the club, and we don't care about them anymore. So let them go. Like I was upset when Strachan went. I was upset when Paul McGrath, when he ended up being Player of the Year, Football Rights Player of the Year in 1993. I was upset, but Gordon Strachan left us and went and won a league. Picked us to the league with Howard Wilkinson at Leeds in 92. But as much as that hurt, in the long run, we played the long game. We ended up being more successful for it. So great decisions there by Fergie, and I like the way that Ranierick, Ten Hag, and Amorim are taking charge and doing the right thing.
Are you the man who defended the abuse that Harry Maguire got and said it was unfair and that fans shouldn't be on a player's back like that?
Yeah.
If Rashford came on this season and he received the same level of abuse, would you back that?
No, I don't. Look, I think whoever's at the club, you should support the players. So I say I've never gone Maguire's back because all the time he was going through it, he was professional. He kept trying hard. He wanted to do well for the club. No one ever accused him of any of this stuff about lack of training, all that kind of thing. That's alien to him. So, and I remember a time when Pogba got booed, and I think that's something different from my opinion. That was something to do with fans not liking him because of the Spice Boy or the culture thing that was coming along. They felt that he was representation of playing slick, fancy football and doing stupid things and worrying about that, rather than being proactive on the pitch and doing a job like a Brian Robson style or Vieira, and driving us. So
you would never boo a player on the pitch?
No, I personally wouldn't.
And you always think you should big up. You always think you should big up the players and things like that.
Yeah, you dig up the players, but booing them.
No, big up the players.
Not always big up. So your question was, if Rashford came back after all this and trained really well and got back in the side, I think you just applaud him. That you got to give people a chance.
Would you expect that to happen if he came back? No. If he came back and he went on the pitch, would you expect a rousing? I can't
speak for the fans. Everyone's entitled to do what they do. I can only speak for what I do.
Yeah, but I'm asking what do you think would happen?
Well,
I'm asking you to predict human behaviour.
Training well and scoring goals and playing.
No, if he just let's say against who are we playing next? The Romanians.
Okay.
Steaua Bucharest, yeah.
Yeah, if Rashford came on 60th minute in that game, do you think what do you think the fan reaction to him would be?
I'm speculating here, but I imagine they would be upset with him and probably. Well, I don't know. It depends. I'm making a judgment here. I'm not too sure. I imagine maybe they would boo him. But if he starts scoring and playing electric again and showing that desire, which they can physically see, the reason why, going back to what I said about Pogba got booed because they felt he wasn't showing that desire, that will. Okay, and I think if Rashford shows that as well, because his body language has been poor. Dora agrees with me on this. His body language has been poor, and this is what fans pick up on. If he starts showing that can't be bothered sort of attitude, not tracking back, whatever, they will get on his case for that. But if he starts showing desire, work rate, if he does run back or runs back and help someone out, he will get applauded for that. Fans do that. Fans applaud things like that.
I'm just talking about his introduction to the pitch, not the rest of it.
The introduction, he's been through hard times, so they might have some issues about him coming back inside, but all he has to do to turn that around, for fans of fickle, I keep saying this, all he has to do to turn it around is show some desire on the pitch, train hard, score goals, be electric, then no one will have any issues, and we all take it back and say we're sorry, Rashford. That's all he has to do. The power is in his hands.
But
Agreed.
you think he'd get booed on the pitch? In your heart, initially, in your heart of hearts, do you think that's because of the interview he did with Henry Winter, where he said that he was up for leaving, or do you think it was because of Amorim's comments? I
don't think the fans are too influenced. The fans are quite more intelligent than we think they are. As Mr. B was saying earlier, fans aren't stupid. As in basics, like we're all human, we can read emotion. The emotion that Rashford's been emitting over the last couple of years is, I'm not really bothered. Oh, God, sigh this, sigh that. That's the emotion that he's been showing, and that's been rubbing off. That's why the fans have got an issue with him. So if he could change that around and work hard at training and start delivering properly, then people will accept him back. Do you understand what I'm saying? But as things stand, I don't think Amorim, what he said about him, that's between Amorim. We don't see that. I don't think it's going to have that much issue. It won't mean a thing if Rashford comes and scores us 10 goals for the rest of the season. It wouldn't mean a thing. So that's why I say our manager has put the power back in Rashford's hands. Say, yeah, I'm saying this because it's true. The way you can change that, bruv, if you fix up your levels and you come back on that pitch and you show people what you're really about, it's on you. Simple as that.
We'll agree to disagree. Yeah, tag Mr. B in.
That's the beauty. Don't bother, Yabba. Don't bother. Listen, that's the beauty. That's the beauty in it. People are always gonna have an opinion, whether they're sitting on the fence or they're on one side or the other side. And my mind's not going to change. I don't think Yabba's mind's going to change. Dora's definitely will flip-flop one way or the other.
You know what? I am on your side, Mr. B, and you, Monday. I'm on your guys' side.
Oh, thank you.
You're not on my side?
Yeah.
Even with the... Okay.
Look, we haven't convinced. I don't think we've changed anybody's mind in the chat, to be fair. But
to be fair, Yabba's made some all three of you have made some good points.
We all have bath time.
Yeah. I know I've made the best.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, obviously, we're good. You know, I agree totally with you, bath time. Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence with Dora now.
No, I think honestly, Yabba's made some really, really good points there. But what it comes down to is that the difference in this sort of like argument is that I believe that the fans and the players, the relationship between them is what the most important thing is, and it should always be looked after. And Yabba kind of like sees it a little bit differently, which is fine because we've all got our different relationships with Manchester United. It's not just one thing or the other, and I think that's where the crux of the argument comes down to. Is Yabba thinks that I get the impression Yabba thinks that Old Trafford is a school and the manager is the headmaster and he's got to run it like a school. And I'm of the opinion that it's a collective where the manager's got to kind of look after things, like more like a commune or something. And that's kind of, I think, where the difference is between us.
Yeah, I think he's one of those managers who is patting his players on the back while, you know what, Omonde, you would be a great Balkan coach. You know, you would get in their face and say, you know what, you idiot, you cannot do that. Then you will throw like Amorim, you know, you will break the screen of the TV or whatever. You know what, Omonde, you would be a perfect Balkan coach.
Set me up, give me an appointment. Send them my
His team would love it, to be honest.
Yeah.
By
the way, my team was saying it. Guys in the comments, you know, we do the eye test on the show and things like that. Bath time is really good tactics and things like that. So Mr. B's got a football team and they haven't been performing too well over the last couple of seasons. This year, they lost one game early in the season. Since then, they've been unbeaten since about September. All right. And there's one thing, I think they had a little private conversation. I was just hearing that Bath time sent Mr. B thing about corners, how to defend corners, how to attack corners. And Mr. B's been flying. Every time I ask him, how did you get on, Mr. B? We won. And it's just like nothing now. He's not even excited anymore. My team yesterday, we lost 5-4. We conceded 3 or 4 corners. Okay?
Ooh.
3 or 4 corners. So I think
Do you want the notes?
I think it's time. I want to book an appointment with Barca.
Have you conceded
You
a corner
played-
since I sent
You
that?
played against Arsenal.
Yeah, we've conceded a couple.
Yeah, it was Arsenal.
But they know what they're doing. It's not. It's whereas before they had no idea. I have no idea if they know what they're doing and we can see the corner. It's fine. I accept it because we've been defending corners from it. It's when they want to do their whole higgledy-biggledy thing and talking to the. Why the fuck we're taking the corner and you're talking to the player and don't let me come on there and fucking clap you in the side of your head. I'm not interested. Set up. We're getting sorry.
The monetizer will be after you.
Sorry.
Balkanese is coming out of you, Mr. B, as well. You are Christ and Tessa Balkanese now. You are from Balkan.
Guys, there's no Champions League tomorrow, is there?
Yeah.
It's on Wednesday.
No, it's Wednesday. There's 18 games.
Every game.
Villa are playing Celtic on Tuesday. That's what I thought.
Every game's on Wednesday. And then every game is Europa League on Thursday.
Wow.
So we'll be back tomorrow at a reasonable time. Preview? I don't know. Listen, look. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, just get happy birthdays in the chat for Dora.
Yeah, can I just say, Dora?
Sing it.
Yes.
Sing it.
You
Come
brought
sing
it up, Dora, on the show.
No,
Come
don't
on, sing
sing
it.
please.
Come on, sing it. Sing it in Croatian.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
She told you what the word was, Yabba. Come on.
Don't Croatian, don't I can't. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dora. Happy birthday to you. 29 years old, beautiful. We love you, Dora. Enough respect every time. You are the best pundit on this show. Yes, the best you are. And we admire you. We wish you a great 29th birthday. 21st says we deserve better. But thank you. Everyone in the comments, give it up for Dora. It's happy birthday to her. And she's an Aquarius, a fish.
You will explain it. You will explain to me what this means.
How
what
do
is
you
in my
do you
zodiac.
believe in the star signs?
I never
Who,
used
me?
to.
No, Yabba
no,
doesn't
no,
believe
no.
in space, but he believes in star signs,
No,
which I
no,
find
no.
quite a contradiction.
There's definitely something in it, like I was saying about the Chinese star sign.
God.
That they're all animals that exist, and they include a dragon. So then dragons must exist as well.
Guys,
But,
guys.
You know something really funny? You know, it's polar bear. Yeah.
Thank you,
Polar
everyone, for birthday.
No, I want to hear about the polar bear.
Oh no.
I want to hear about the polar bear.
The stream.
This polar bear,
After the stream.
went to a bar, right, and said to the barman, "Can I get a rum and a Coke?" The barman says, "Yeah, but what's with the pause?" And he says, "I was born with it."
You are a moron.
You know, Yabba, you are an idiot.
I found it the other day. It was wicked. Funny.
I found it.
That's laughing, guys.
You're
That's
such
hilarious.
a dad. Oh my god. But thank you for great wishes. It's very lovely. Thank you for singing to me happy birthday. Very lovely voice, Monty. It's like you are, you have a very soulless, not soulless. Oh my god, very soul-like voice. So thank you.
Yeah.
Soulful,
Big up,
soulless.
big up
Oh my
Dora.
god.
Honestly, enjoy your day, and we love you very much.
Thank you.
Not
Thank you.
as much as your boyfriend, but
Well,
you know. Yeah. Right, guys. With that, it's like a notch from me.
like a notch from me.
Like a notch from me.
Like a notch from me.